Hey everyone, it's Petula here with Vision Ready, coming to you with our Friday health and wellness series that we do most Fridays. And today we have Amy. Amy is an amazing human being, and today she will be talking about the human design chart, filling you in on what that is, sharing some information. It's a very interesting thing. I encourage everyone to get the full chart read with Amy after this. You could put your information in the comments and she will definitely get in contact with you to do that. So Amy is the founder of Blocked Emotions. She's also included 8 years as a KC-135 pilot with the Air Force. Just has some amazing skills and background. Female pilot, yay! And today, she's also going to dive into something that's called ELV, if I'm saying that right. Elevate live vibrations, right? So
Mhm.
it's really some great information. And when we look at health and wellness, you can look at it from all spectrums, right? And this is just another way for us to diving deeper into who we are, and get to know ourselves even better. Hi, Amy. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So happy to be here. It's
Yeah.
Friday.
Right. Friday it is. I'm happy it's Friday as well. So we're happy to have you. So let's dive in. Tell us about
Yeah,
the awakening your human design. How about
yeah. So we'll start with the human design, and it is the coolest process. So a lot of people follow astrology, and they know most everybody knows what their zodiac sign is. And
Mhm.
then also big out there is going and taking a personality test. And
Right.
so you can kind of think about the human design as using both of those combined together, but then taking it up even higher because this dives down to the itty bitty details of why you do what you do. And the whole foundation around it is
Mhm.
becoming aware of where in your body your energy is going to be changeable or affected by other people and where that specific energy is permanent. So that just means
Oh.
things that you do that are not something you should keep focusing on changing because that's why it's not working and not changing. It's because that specific
Ah.
part of your system, it's not
Mhm.
designed to change. Like you can't change it. And then there
Mhm.
are other parts where they're very flexible. So you have to be really mindful of who you're around because
Mhm.
you actually are really influenced by that other person's energy. And so it's this just super cool thing where once you're aware of why you're doing what you're doing, then instead of
Mm.
trying to fight against it. So I feel like the big thing with most like coaching systems or whatever you're, diving into to try to help yourself. I mean, I know
Mhm.
I follow some coaching people that are military just because it's the resonance of the military thing, that
Mhm.
they're like, they're swearing at their audience, they're gung ho, you want to be successful, you just need to get out there and take action. But for some people, going out and taking action is actually opposite of what they should do if they want to be successful. So
Mhm.
you can never put yourself in, there is no one size fits all. Everybody can't just go out and make it happen. There are some people that actually have to let it come to them.
Mm.
They're almost like magnets for their opportunities. But if they're trying to make it happen, they'll actually resist what needs to come to them. So it's super cool. Um,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I like that because you know how we're always like, well, this is not moving forward for me, so I need to just focus on changing this and doing it. And that's not maybe the route we have to go, correct?
yeah, yep. And so is what it is it's based off of this. We're all taught, okay, you're born, you have genetics from your parents, but this goes into a foundational theory of, and it's been actually studied scientifically because I'm all about, I need both. I need
Mhm.
it to resonate with me on an emotional, spiritual plane, but I'm also data driven. So I've got to be like, huh, I got to see this. Like,
Yeah.
is this measurable? So there are
Right.
actually these super cool particles that are all over, just millions of them. And
Mhm.
so they're small enough that they can pass through a surface,
Mhm.
but they're big enough that they can carry matter. They're matter, so they can absorb energy. So think of it as like these things are flying all over the place. They come through the atmosphere. They come from stars. They go through planets, and then eventually they end up down through our atmosphere, and they end up imprinting or impacting us. So when a baby is born, that is the
Mhm.
moment when its cognitive mind is, just think of it like it's just here. Like it just got born. It's completely fresh. It hasn't been
Mhm.
imprinted by anything. And these little neutrinos come and basically pass through the baby's system and imprint it. So not only do you have your genetics playing a part, but you have this imprint. So
Mhm.
kind of like following astrology, but thinking about it, it's not just the spot in the sky where things are when you're born, it's also the particles in the air that contain energy from
Mm.
planets and the stars actually imprinting into your system. And we're being imprinted all the time. It's just
Right.
that at that moment, you're very, very impressionable because you were just born as a brand new little cute pink spirit. But that's what the whole process is based off of. And so it's really cool. Like there's this
Yeah.
huge chart that you create based off of the place you were born, the time you were born, the date you were born, and then when
Mhm.
you look at it, I like to think of it as like soup or a house. So whichever one resonates more. So
Right.
some people have built a house before and they've seen a set of house plans and they're just pages and pages and pages because each page is specific to the contractor. So the electrical page is an electrical diagram and
Mhm.
the frame page is the walls. And so each contractor comes in and they find their page and then they know what they're going to make. So your human design chart kind of starts out at the level of like if you were going to go pick out a house plan,
Mhm.
you would look at it from the outside first. You would see it. You'd be like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, this is what my house looks like on the outside. And so that's what we call our type. And it's kind of,
Hmm.
does your house have siding? Does it have brick? Does it have rock? And then you just go down and down and down. So you're kind of looking in the windows and you can see like where are the bedrooms? Where's the kitchen? Where are the bathrooms?
Yeah.
So that's coming into a little bit more in depth of your personality. And then it just goes into, oh, okay, what kind of finishes do you have going on? You have, different kinds of countertops, different kinds of cupboards, what kind of floors. So you keep going down and down, and human design goes all the way down to the level that you would be in a house plan of where are the electrical outlets at. And if
Oh.
you're looking at it and you want to look at it, if you're more of a foodie and it makes more sense, you can think of it as you start with the base of the soup and then you add
Ah.
the protein and then you're adding veggies and then you get down to the little intrinsic part of it where you're putting
Yeah.
in seasonings. And so we have lines and gates and channels as the verbiage we use in human design, and they're all adding like this flavor to you. So
Mhm.
it does start out with like 5 types, which I'll
Mhm.
talk about in a second.
Okay.
Of course, there's more than 5 types of people,
Right.
which is why astrology is cool.
Uh,
Where did I go? There we go. There's
uh,
only there's only 12 signs. There's more than 12 personalities running around, you know? So,
Mhm.
in human design, we use
Oh,
um,
wow.
64 different gates, but then they're all also associated with different lines and different channels that are connected and different centers in our body that are, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So the 5 types, even if you and I happen to
Yeah.
be the same type,
Mhm.
which we have, manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, which like it sounds, they're a combination of those 2, projectors and reflectors. So there's a certain
Manifesting
percentage.
generators. Okay, projectors and reflectors, did you say?
Uh-huh. So
Okay.
generators are the biggest group. Then we have manifestors, and
Mhm.
then we have manifesting generators,
Ah.
projectors, and then 1% of the population are what we call reflectors. So there's very small amount of people that are reflectors. But
Mhm.
that kind of puts us on this really. broad range. So there are certain things about each of these types that apply to you, but
Yeah.
then depending on where the planets were at when the little neutrinos picked up their info, there are certain things about each of these types that
Oh,
apply to you, but
yeah.
then depending on where the
Oh.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I don't either. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Hey, you know what? As an energy worker, I am all about technology going haywire because that's just what happens.
Right. So we got a lot of energy coming in now.
Right? Not, but so even if you and I were both the same type,
Yeah.
then when we dive down into looking at our channels and our gates, it would define like why I would do things a little bit different than you. But so
Okay.
I'll give you an example. If the world goes around perfectly and everyone understood
Yeah.
their human design, we would all be doing exactly what we were meant to do and we would fit together perfectly. And there would be no chaos in the world because
Wouldn't
manifest
that be amazing?
right? Look, manifestors are supposed to initiate the process, but the generators are the ones who have the energy to make the processes go. So the manifestors bring the idea.
Okay.
So in historically, manifestors were they were the hierarchy. They were actually the people that were um, the kings and the rulers, and everybody was working for them. That's the type
Mhm.
of personality that a manifester is. And
Okay.
then the generators were the ones providing all the work. They were the ones out in the fields. They were the ones building pyramids. They were the
Mhm.
workforce. So we did this big, people have evolved, but so has our energy systems. And so we
Yeah.
did this big shift. And when we did this big shift, and if you look back through society and culture, you can see it. The manifestors started not becoming the workforce. Now the generators are the workforce, are the people that are more in control,
Mhm.
because we have tools for them to be able to use technology to get the work done that needs to be done. So we've kind of done a switch. We don't have, people aren't aligned with listening and being told what to do anymore by a
Yeah.
dictator or a leader. They're like,
Yeah.
no, I can, I'm going to do this for myself. But
Exactly.
and then we have projectors and
Uh-huh.
they look at the process. They're watching the manifestors manifest. They're
Yeah.
watching the generators work, and they're the ones that are like, "Oh, we should do this differently." And so that's
Mm.
what a projector is. And then reflectors are really special. They actually have to wait for an invite because they do not have a defined energy system themselves. They actually have to align with what the cycle of the moon is because they don't have the ability to create their own energy. Like they really are like a very unique.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
This
So,
is just blowing me away. I can't wait to
right?
get mine's done.
So cool. Okay, so I'll tell you a couple of examples just about
Okay. Yes, please.
just a little example about how understanding what you are is super important to
Okay.
what you're doing. But also, I like to use this example because lots of us have kids that are a different, just because you're a certain type doesn't
Mhm.
mean your kid is the same, which
Right.
makes sense, right? If anybody out there that's watching that's a parent knows that you can have kids that are totally different
Mhm.
from each other and totally different from you and their other parents. So um, here's an example. So we have these beautiful energy systems, and it's kind of traditionally taught that we have seven. But when we did this beautiful energy shift
Yeah.
years ago, we moved from a seven-centered human energy to nine centers. And so
Mm.
generators by nature, their sacral chakra center is what
Yeah.
we call defined or active. And so they actually receive an answer to things through their sacral chakra. And it comes as a yes or a no, and
Mhm.
it comes as a uh-huh or a uh-uh. So now let's think about that. When
Okay.
you're a kid and your mom says, "Do you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?" and you say uh-huh or uh-uh, then
Yeah.
your mom says, "You need to use your words."
Oh, right.
Right? And so we teach our kids that they have to use proper grammar. And so is what happens is as they get older, they get told every time they say uh-huh or uh-uh that they're not responding correctly. So they stop listening to their inner guidance system and they
Mm.
start listening to what society tells them to do. So they can become adults and be completely lost. And you have this beautiful system that knows. right off the bat, if you listen to it, what you should be doing. It's just that we're taught to ignore it. And so
Yeah.
if you realize that your child is responding with an or and that's actually them listening to their sacral chakra, which is their energy source, you
Mhm.
can, um, help to nurture it. So when they grow up to be an adult,
Mhm.
it becomes very easy for them. They wait. So generators have to wait for something to come to them. They have this beautiful ability to pull in opportunities for them. And if they wait, an opportunity will come to them. And then when the opportunity shows itself, they will look at the opportunity and they respond with yes or no questions. So if you are with a generator, you wouldn't want to say, you wouldn't want to ask them, where do you want to go for dinner? You would want to say, do you want to go to a
Ah,
specific place? If you say, where do you want to go? They can't
yeah.
respond. You have to give them a yes or no question
Mhm.
so they get that opportunity brought to them and then they can respond to you. So it's really cool. And when you understand this,
Mhm.
if you, the person you're living with, your partner,
I
whatever,
was
or
just gonna say that. Yes.
right? If you're like, you're so irritating, why can't you just answer me? So, same with like manifestors, they're really independent. If
Uh-huh.
you are out of milk and you are married to a manifestor, you do not want to say, go get some milk, because that is very irritating to them. You simply say, we are out of milk. And their internal system responds with going and getting you milk. But if you tell them
Mm.
to go do it, they
They're
basically
like,
give you the finger and they're like, don't tell me what to do. You cannot tell a manifester what to do.
"Oh
Um,
my god, I love."
cool.
This makes so much sense because I feel like you could really tap into someone's personality
Oh, yeah.
and know almost like the love languages, right? You just
Yeah.
kinda, like, know how to speak to them, and that's super interesting. Um, with so the generator, um so the manifestor, we know how they are, right? The reflectors are so interesting, where how they respond, and, and then did you do the projectors? Sorry.
Yeah. The projectors, they are really good at providing feedback. So
Ah,
they're good at saying, they're good at analyzing what's happening in processes and providing feedback.
that's amazing. So you've been doing this for a while, correct? And tell me some, if you could share some experiences with working with people and like aha moments or life-changing moments that this actually really, really helped an individual dive deep into what their blueprint is.
Yeah. So one of them is that I would say the thing that comes up the most is people not understanding that it's okay, depending on where your energies are active and whatever, that there's people that, like for example, for a manifester,
Mhm,
they're very driven and they're very independent at
mhm,
the same time. And they if they come into a room, they're really most comfortable standing off to the side and watching what's happening before they will engage.
hmm,
And then when they engage with someone, they'll go to them and they'll start talking. And then they're waiting for the response to decide whether or not this is a conversation worth continuing to engage with. So
mhm.
if you don't know that about yourself, and people are, once again, we come back to the when you walk into a room, you got to be networking, you got to be like,
Right.
chatting it up. And if
Mhm,
that is not who you are, forcing yourself to do that will not align you with your purpose. So
mhm.
understanding, like I have people come to me and they're like, I hate it. I feel like I'm an introvert. I can't walk into a room and feel comfortable. Just making them aware and aligning their cognitive mind with what their system is. Cause right, their cognitive mind is telling them one thing. Their cognitive mind's like, something's wrong with you. You walk into a room and you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your inner guidance is like, no, you're supposed to be not walking into a room and feeling comfortable. It's your internal GPS. But if you go out to, I have a client who was like, well, if I, go into um well, let's a manifesting generator. This is a really good example. I have a client
Mhm.
who's like, I don't know why I do this. I tell my friends or whatever that I'm aligned to go do something, and then once I start to actually go do it, I'm like, I don't want to go anymore. And then
Oh.
they get mad because they're like, you said you were coming with us. Well, a manifesting generator,
Mhm.
that's how they work. In the moment, it looks great. And so they listen and they're like, oh, I'm getting a aha, which so it sounds right for them. But they have a gap. They have a gap space where they respond initially, which is what
Mhm.
they're meant to do. So they like, yes, I do. Yeah, I'll come to lunch with you. But then when they actually get up and put their shoes on and they walk toward the door,
Mhm.
that's their gap space. And now they're putting their toe into it and thinking, do I really want to go? And then suddenly they're
Oh,
like,
wow.
I don't really want to go to lunch today. Well, that doesn't feel right because then they're like, "But I already told the Karens of the group that I'm coming to the lunch and they don't want to listen to themselves." And so that's what I help my clients do. I'll say, no, that's actually how you're designed. It's fine. If you say, yes, you want to go, beautiful. You're listening to yourself, but it's that gap space and that next step of when you actually go to leave the house that counts. And if you get
Mhm.
that, ooh, I'm not really aligned with going, then
Yeah.
listen to yourself and don't go. But it's totally opposite of what you've been taught. So that's where it's that real,
Yeah.
like, eye-opening moment where people are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not weird." Right? And then you talk about it again.
Exactly.
Again, like, "This is me."
Well, I
Moment.
definitely am looking forward to getting mine done. And anyone else who sees the replay or connects with us, definitely put your information or connect with me directly, and I will connect you guys with Amy. I think this is would be life changing for everyone. That's just my thoughts and opinion, but hopefully you guys could resonate and feel the same way as well. So let's talk about elevate uh
Elevated
elf.
vibration, yeah. I like to
Yes.
call it ELV, like a
Elf.
elf, but a elf.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. So, elevate life vibration is this really cool process where we can make an energy connection. You can make an energy connection with anyone. We like to be respectful about that. So, that's no different than if I saw you out in the store, I wouldn't just start going through your purse, right? Because that's your
So,
personal space. So we make an energy connection with someone, and then is what we can do is every time something happens to you in your life, if you are not balanced, which I mean, can you honestly look back and say, unless you do this work every day,
yeah.
is there really a time in my life where I was completely balanced? I was not tired, not hungry, not whatever, and I felt really good. Like it's a difficult spot to be in. So when we're slightly out of balance for any type of reason and we have something happen to us, and my system uses toxic phrases, so something someone said to you, negative energy from an event, negative energy that you're picking up from another person, emotions that are negative that don't process out, karma energy, all kinds of stuff come into play. So let's say that I'm 10 years old and I'm at school and I stand up to do my little presentation to the class and someone makes fun of me, or I'm just scared to death,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Someone says something and I feel really dumb. So
Mhm.
that emotion can get, instead of processing, I can kind of keep it with me and then it sort of floats around to wherever it would like to float around to. And then as I go through my life, I just keep picking all of these up. And they love to travel to places and kind of group together and they wear out parts of your body because they are like little, I like to think of them as little chemical reactions. Feelings or energy. So they get trapped, then they hang
Mhm.
out in places, and then suddenly, when you're 32 years old, you're like, I don't really know why. Is my elbow hurting?
Yeah.
Well, let me give you an example, actually.
Yeah.
So let's say you're 32 and then you get into a random argument with your husband and you're already, or your wife, and you're already really tired because the kids are screaming. And
Yes.
suddenly you're like, why in the world is my elbow hurting? And it's
Oh.
because all of that energy has now built up and that was like the last straw.
Oh.
So the argument with your spouse is now blowing all of this stuff up and now your elbow hurts and you have no idea why. So what do? You get on the phone eventually and you call and you go in and they're like, well, let's x-ray your elbow. And then they're like, yeah, we don't see anything wrong with it. and that's it, right? They're not going to send you down to someone else because you came in for your elbow. And
Exactly.
not even a physical issue. It's that those
Mm,
energies are trapped in your elbow and the subconscious knows they're there. So
mm,
we simply make this energy connection and then I can see what they are and I just help your subconscious. So it's
mhm.
actually you doing it all. I'm just the facilitator.
Yeah.
Help your subconscious to be like, oh, this is what's going on here. And then we allow the subconscious to basically release it. So then, wow, lo and behold, those are gone. And then your elbow stops hurting. And
Wow.
this affects you on a physical level. These emotions, these negative things can be affecting you internally. So they can be
Mhm.
causing you problems with your blood pressure. You
Mm.
name it. Any physical system that you have is affected by these energies. And then, of course, like if you have things in your past, like sometimes clients will say, well, I know that I have a specific event that happened. Can we work on anything going on around that exact time? So we can work on that exact event. We can
Mhm.
work on um, we can work on an age range. If you're like, I just know that between the ages of 13 and 15, my life was super difficult. We can
Yeah.
focus in. And sometimes my clients come to me and they're like, yeah, I don't know. Susie down the street just said this was so cool and it changed her life, but I really don't have any idea what I'm here for. We actually just let your subconscious pick what is the most beneficial for you
Uh-huh.
to clear out. So it's super cool.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm excited. So, um, with the human design chart, it's very in depth, and Amy dives so deep into it that she'll do that offline if you're interested. And then today, what she can do really quick is the elf, right?
Mhm.
And dive into that. So, what I'm gonna do with now, I mean, if anyone's online and they want, put some comments in and they want that done, let us know. If not, I'm going to put myself out there and say, let's do it on me. And then
Mhm.
if they want that service from you, we'll have all of Amy's information in the description, in the comments after the recording. And if you're watching replay as well, so that you can connect with her and get these amazing services, especially if you're an entrepreneur. It will open the doors for you, it would guide you, it'll actually give you maybe direction on how you speak to your clients, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
And if you
even,
you
like she's
know
yeah, even like your relationships, personal relationships, and how that works. So, all right, Amy, I'm putting myself out there to the universe. What do you need from me for the elf
okay,
portion?
perfect. So usually is what I ask for my clients is, I just let's start with tell me how old you are.
I am 50.
Okay. Then the other thing, is you can pick something. So I usually tell my clients, like, resonate with if you have emotional things going on, if you have anything physical that's bothering you, or if you have anything internal, and that's as in, you have a blood pressure problem, you have a cholesterol issue, but use a wide, broad range because we can be talking about stuff from you were in a car accident to you're
Oh
having
wow.
an issue craving salt.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
if there's something specific that you want me to look at, then I
Yeah.
will. Otherwise, if
Um,
you're like, yeah, just pull out whatever.
well, I don't have any physical elements that I know of, but I would love for you to maybe, can you focus on maybe business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific going on in your business if you were
Yeah.
to look at it that you're like, man, I'm just having this like one little, like it feels like a stuck thing.
Yeah, sometimes I get questioned a lot like, I know what you do, but I'm not sure what you do. Where we provide a lot of services for entrepreneurs as businesses, and we have narrowed it down to focusing primarily on women as of recently. So um, maybe telling my story better, or what do I do to get out there so people can actually clearly understand what that is.
Okay, perfect. So we as you're talking, um, and you we're going to say too, like you asked for this to be done. So we have the permission to make the connection.
Yes.
And then I just take a moment and we're just getting beautifully in touch, which I'm getting all tingly. So that's
Yay.
good because it means it's nice and
That means
flowy.
good energy.
Right? We're getting in touch. I like to also tell people I get it. Like everybody resonates differently depending on what religion you were brought up in or what you believe in. So go with it. Some people are like, oh, I have ancestors that are helping me. I have spirit guides that are helping me. I
Yeah.
have archangels. I don't, whatever, God, whatever your higher level source is, we just bring that in for you. And we do it with complete intention to be for your highest good
Yes.
and with absolute intention that anything we find, we're going to clear it away. Your body's going to release it beautifully out through your feet, out through your root chakra, leaving you feeling light and balanced. So
Mhm.
now I already see it. So if people have seen a similar process to this, they're going to know that practitioners do this cool thing called muscle testing, where you'll see them, everybody does it kind of different. Some people do this jazz, some people do this jazz with their
Mhm.
fingers. I actually developed my skills so that I can channel, which
Mhm.
means that I'm just receiving whatever your thing is through an image, or I can hear it as a little tiny voice. So,
Okay.
every once in a while I get a little stuck. You'll see me do this, but I do this a lot because this is how I work my
Oh
energy.
my
So
God. Yes. I love
your
it.
your question that we're asking your
Mhm.
subconscious that resonated with me when you were talking about what you were working on is we're going to look at any energy from not being able to be clear with your purpose. So that's just going to be what your subconscious is showing me. So now I'm just using this huge system of all of this stuff that I put together. And oh, by the way, if you are into energy work, this is something I
Yes.
teach other people how to do. Um,
Yeah.
and it's really cool. But let's see. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go right into your aura layers. So
Okay.
your aura layers are these cool things that are outside of your body. Some people can see them. You can actually
Yes.
train yourself to see them. They're different colors, but there's actually different layers. So you have like one that's really close and then one that's a little further, and they just go out from you.
Okay.
So you have what I see, or what I call is like a tear in your aura layer. This is in your third
Ooh.
aura layer. So this is your mental, and I'm going to write this down so we
Okay.
can review it. Your mental body, uh,
Okay.
third layer. This is where your beliefs lie.
Uh-huh.
This is also connected to your solar plexus. So
Mhm.
now, when I say a tear, because sometimes then people are like, well, how do I sew that up? The easiest way for me to explain it is we're going to see in a second what some of your underlying emotions are, or negative vibrations that have
Mhm.
created this. But once we release them, think of it as like, once we release that, it basically goes through the layer, and the layer works like one of those really cool things where you like stick your finger in it, and when you pull it out, it just closes right up. Makes sense? So you
Yes.
can have something sort of stuck in there. And once we clear it, then your aura will just come right back together. Um,
Yay.
Okay, so there's definitely that going on.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking to see if this is affecting any of your actual body organs. And we're going to go into the liver area. And I'm just looking. So I'm basically having this internal conversation with your subconscious. So I can see the liver. Do I need to go any further into detail in the liver area? Yes. So we're going to look at the liver, and this is going to be something to do with, we're going to be able to clear some toxins
Mhm.
from your liver. So our bodies have lots of toxins in them.
Mhm.
Also, this process finds pathogens. So if you have viruses, of course,
Oh.
as I say this, right? So what do you think it helps with? We won't use the word. This process works really well if you have that one thing, or you're struggling with things that happen after you've had that one thing. Like it's just really hard for me because I'll be on social media and someone will say, I can't smell anymore and it's not coming back. What do you do? And I'm like, yo, it's just an energy blocking one of your systems. So you can just clear it out and then you'll be able to smell again. Okay.
Right.
So I'm looking at your liver, and we're looking at, there is what we call the hepatic portal vein is what we need to go into. So we're just looking at that. And that is actually as far as we need to go with the liver. We're also going to balance your liver meridian.
Mhm.
And now I can tell that we are at the spot where I'm going to pull out some of these negative emotions or toxic phrases or whatever. So these are going to be all connected to, and I'll tell you what age they happen at as well, because that's always fun. This first one is what we call at your inner child level. And this is going to be, now I'm going to caveat when we say certain things. I always tell you, like, don't take it to the extreme, because this one that's pulling up for me is some emotional abuse at an inner child level. But that can range from like a parent being super abusive to a little kid saying something to you that's not very nice. Like,
Okay.
your hair looks dumb today, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so there's some emotional abuse energy. This is about 7, 8, 9, 8, about age 8.
Mhm.
Now, here's the other cool thing, right? Do you remember specifically? That's a pretty broad one. Like if I tell
Yeah.
someone, oh, you have some energy from someone dying when you were 18, that one's really easy to be like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Abuse energy from when you were 8, you may
Yeah.
or may not even have any idea what that is. But the cool thing is, it doesn't matter. Like your subconscious showed it to me, and we're
Yes.
going to clear it away.
Okay.
So, I mean, and
Perfect.
let's see what else there is. So, and sometimes these all come together at the same age, and sometimes they're really spread out
Mhm.
because they build upon themselves. So you have some trauma
Mhm.
energy. This is pretty common. Some trauma energy from birth. Just think of all that a baby goes through when it's born.
Oh, yes, yes,
Pulling,
yes.
squeezing, squashing. So we're going to clear out some trauma energy from birth. You have a toxic phrase. This is when you were 13. Let's see what it is. So this is someone saying, don't be a crybaby.
Oh. Oh,
And
damn.
that can be something that was addressed to you. But
Mhm.
we also, our subconsciouses pick up everything that's going on around us. So even if you hear someone else say that in a off
Mhm.
to the side, it can
Yeah.
actually still affect you. You have another, you have an absorbed emotion, absorbed, blocked emotion. These are things that you absorb from other people because
Mhm.
of how we were talking about with like our human design. We have places
Mhm.
in our human design that are open. And so this one is an absorbed
Great.
energy. And so we're going to see what that is. It's absorbed energy. You actually absorbed a blocked emotion when someone was choking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull out the age. So you were around someone who was choking when you were about 15. So
Mm.
they were choking, which also gave you your own blocked emotion of some panic. Same age. Okay.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So let's see. Is there anything else associated with this? No. Okay. So here's the cool thing, right? Oh,
Yeah.
remember what the initial question was? I was looking for any energy not being clear with your purpose.
Yeah.
None of what we just found makes any sense, right?
Right? And I'm like, "Okay."
So here's the cool part. We're going to
Mhm.
clear this away, and I'm also going to do for you. I'm also going to clear away any blocked creative stagnation because I can see it sitting out there kind of by itself.
Okay.
And that will help you with ideas. But here's what we're going to do now. So we're going to clear these. I actually clear with intention as I go, but it's always fun just for people to see. So I like to use cool little stones. I pick the one that is resonating with your energy, and we're just going to go like this. So I'm going to start doing that, and we'll go through my list, and we're just going
Mhm.
to clear these away. If you want to get all nice and relaxed and aligned, you can
Yes.
too, because a lot of times you can feel it as they release, although it's actually not necessary for you to do that. Okay, so here we go. Any questions before I do this?
No,
Okay, cool.
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're going to clear a blocked emotion, centering your energy through your governing vessel meridian, and we're going to clear these emotions out through your root chakra. We're sending them back out into the divine universe where it's being accepted and dissolved. We're clearing this blocked creative stagnation, clearing a blocked emotion of some panic from age 15. We're clearing a blocked choking energy. We're clearing a toxic phrase of don't be a crybaby, clearing any hooks, any cords that we have attached to that. We're clearing Emotional trauma energy from when you were born, releasing that from that space and time. We're clearing emotional abuse energy from age 8. Now, with all these energies cleared and gone and dispersed, we're going to balance these systems. We're balancing your liver. We're balancing your liver meridian. We're balancing your hepatic portal vein. We're clearing, releasing any toxins that you have built up. With all those toxins gone, we're now going to balance your solar plexus. And then we're going to remove all of those energies that are hanging out from your third aura layer, releasing, clearing, allowing it to completely come back together, balancing in harmony. All right. And then I always just check and I'm like, is all of that cleared? Yes. Okay. Perfect. So that is how it works. Pretty cool, huh?
Oh my God, that was awesome. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
after this is done, is there a feeling or something that the individual will feel? Like, is there something that I'm gonna experience like an hour from now or 5 minutes from now? I
Yeah.
mean, I
So,
actually felt like a tingle when you were doing that.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really cool. So here's what I always say. We have the ability to actually resist things when we are too focused on needing an outcome.
Okay.
So if I'm too focused on I need to see an outcome, then you can actually prevent yourself from seeing an outcome. So I always
Yeah.
say, let it come to you, let it flow. It's going to be different for everybody because you may you're going to potentially just notice it when you're
Mhm.
working. You'll be like, "Wow, I would normally do this behavior and I just noticed that I didn't do it." So you want to like have it like that. I always call it like wait till you notice it
Yes, yes, yes.
instead of trying to look for it, just wait till you notice it.
Oh, perfect. Oh my God, I love this. Everyone, if you came on now, there's a couple comments. Someone named Grace, hi Grace, asked, "What is Amy's type?"
Oh, great question. Should we guess? No. Uh, so, my type is I'm a manifesting generator.
I was
So,
gonna say
yeah,
that.
I manifest and generate. And so, which, growing up, I had no idea about this, right? I didn't even come into human design until later after I actually, I don't even know if I mentioned, but anyways, I had lost my spouse and then
Uh-huh.
I went through a bunch of craziness. This was way before I got into energy work. I lost my spouse, got out of the military. Then I lost my daughter. And that's how I got into this field, is because I was like in the doctor's office doing therapy, taking medication. And like,
Mhm.
I feel like crap, nothing is working. And I ran
Right.
across energy stuff by accident. And then it literally saved my life. So before I knew I was a manifesting generator, I just thought I had attention deficit disorder, but I
Oh,
don't. I just am really great at multitasking. And so once again, it comes back to the right. If I go in and say, I'm all over the place, like I can't stay on one task, what's going to happen? They're going to be like, well, let
you're
us give you
ADD.
some medication
Yeah.
for that. But then I realized no. And so I use this really cool technique. It's actually called the Pomodoro technique, and it's
Mhm.
based off of tomatoes in Italy because that's where it was, and the little tomato, like the little
Oh, wow.
tomato kitchen timer.
Yeah.
So basically, is what you
Mhm.
do is you set your little tomato kitchen timer, and then you
Mhm.
dedicate yourself to doing something for 25 minutes, full dedication, and then the timer goes off and you take a little 5-minute break. And you
Yeah,
can modify the time depending on
yeah.
what resonates for you, but you do it
Mhm.
like 4 times and then you take a longer break because you don't have attention deficit disorder. You're a good multitasker. And so
Yeah.
understanding that instead of fighting it, because if you're a manifesting generator and you fight and stop trying to have so much going on, you're doing the opposite of your strategy. You're doing the opposite of what you're
And
aligned
you're
to.
hurting yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you
Oh
accomplish.
my god, that's amazing.
Cool, huh?
Well, Amy, again, thank you so much for joining us today, and talking about the human design chart. Again, everyone, now or later, definitely reach out to Amy to get your chart done, as well as have your elf so she can remove blocks on.
Hey.
As you guys saw, I put myself out there. You see what she did with me, and it was so interesting what came up within that, because there's some of it I actually know. So it's really interesting that that came up, Amy. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. Again, real quick, Amy, do you want to share like an email address or something out loud? But we'll still have it in the description. But if anyone wants to capture it now.
Yeah, sure. So my email address is just amy@blockedemotions.com. And then, feel free to, if Facebook is your gig, you can hop on there and just go to my Blocked Emotions Facebook page or
Mhm.
whatever works. So
Mhm. All right, perfect. Again, thank you so much. This was a wonderful end to my Friday because I am unplugging for the rest of the day. And I really truly appreciate you. Again, if you guys are checking this out on the replay, let us know, comment, and we will get back to you. Everyone, have a great day. And Amy, you have a great day and weekend.
thank you. You too.
You too. Bye bye.